Hey guys, welcome back. This is Bernard from the BTNHD. And yes, an MDT video. Now this is one of my favorite ones. How not to break your MDT server. So what do I mean? You have your MDT server up and running, and it's to the point that it's perfect. You have your operating systems node with all your operating systems. You have your applications, all your out-of-the-box drivers, your packages, your task sequence. Everything is the master golden. Everything is great. Everything is working. But what happens if you want to test something out and you don't want to break your perfect MDT server? So I'm going to show you guys how not to break it. Real easy. So what you're going to do is right-click on deployment share and create another deployment share. It's that simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it in my C drive, and I'm going to call it, let's say, testing. Right? We're going to go to next. And I'm going to remove deployment share, but keep that $sign and just go testing. And just go next. And this is going to be called testing. Right? Keep it nice and simple. Again, this deployment share is just for testing purposes. You could break this one. And I'm just going to disable all this stuff, and I'm going to click next and next. Okay, so we have our new testing deployment share. So you have to configure your testing deployment share the same way that you deploy your previous deployment share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import an operating system. We need an operating system to test out our custom stuff. So I'm going to right click on the operating system node and go import operating system. I'm going to do a full set of source files. I'm going to click on next. My source directory is actually my D drive. So I'm going to click on my D drive and click OK and go to next. And I'm going to leave it as is. Click next and next. OK, so importing our operating system is completed. So I'm going to click on finish. So I'm going to right click on task sequence, go to new task sequence. I'm going to give it 001. And this is going to be, let's say, testing Windows 7 x64 task sequence. Okay, remember this is for testing only. We're going to click on next. It's going to be a standard client task sequence. Click next. We're going to pick our operating system. Click next. I'm not going to specify a product key. Let's enter our organization, BTNHD. I'm going to leave everything as is. Click on next. Assign in an admin password and make sure you guys remember it. Again, you're configuring your testing environment the same way that your master environment is or your production environment is, right? So we're going to click on next on that, summary, and next. And it's done. Okay, so once you're done with your task sequence, next thing you need to do is update your deployment. The reason that we need to update our new testing deployment is because it needs to create the boot images. So we're going to right click on our new deployment share, update our deployment share, optimize the boot image updating process, and just click next and next. Okay, so the update process is completed. So we're going to click on finish. Okay, so the next step is easy. Now, if you've been using WDS the way I've been using WDS throughout all my MDT videos, it's time to tell this testing deployment share to talk to our WDS, right? So when we boot into our environment, we have either boot into our production or boot into our testing environment. So let's open up WDS, and I'm going to click on the server node. I'm going to click on my server name node, go to boot images. And these two boot images are for my production, okay? We need to add our new deployment share, which is our testing environment. So we're going to right click on boot images, go to add images. I'm going to browse. Awesome. So it's going to take me to the last spot, and that was my production because these are the two WIM images that I imported. But we need to get into our testing deployment. So wherever you guys dropped it, locate it. For me, I dropped it inside the C drive. So I'm going to go to C. I'm going to go to testing. I'm going to go to boot. And let's import the 64-bit one. And next. Now, I don't want to keep the same name because I don't want to confuse myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the home and I'm going to do testing, right? That's awesome. Let's add a little space right there. Awesome. Awesome. So let's click next. Next. Once it's completed, we're going to click on finish. And we got the 64-bit one, so we're going to right-click on boot images again and add a boot image. And we're going to do the same thing with the 86-bit. Make sure that you're in the testing environment or whatever name that you gave it, 86. Click on next. We're going to change the name. Okay, I'm going to call it testing. And the description also, change that. Awesome. And we're going to click on next, next. And once that's done, we're going to click on finish. And we're going to right click on our WDS node and all tasks, and we're going to restart, make sure everything is working with no problem. Awesome, success. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize my VMware workstation, and I'm going to go to my host. I'm going to go to the E, and I'm going to create a new folder, and we're going to call it bj-tests. And I'm going to copy that path. Awesome. Let's close this window. Let's go back into our workstation. Let's go to File, New Virtual Machine. Click Next, Next. This is a Windows 7 box. Click Next. We're going to drop inside that folder that we created. And let's give it a bj-test. Awesome. Click Next. 60 gigs, leave it. Next. And finish. Awesome. So I'm going to start this guy up. And I'm going to click F12 like a madman. All right, so once you press F12, you're going to get this. Okay, you have multiple options to boot into. We got our testing, and we have our production. Or you can change the name to production to keep it nice and clean. Now you're able to boot into your testing environment and then test whatever customized script that you have that you don't want to touch inside your production environment. You're probably saying to yourself, what if I'm not using WDS? Well, whatever way you're doing it within your production environment, do it the same way as your testing environment. If you're doing it as a flash drive, go inside Advanced Configuration, go to Media, and create your ISO and burn it into a flash drive. It's the same concept as your production. The only reason is you have two deployments here, guys. That's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video of how not to break your MDT server, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.